I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we dive into a world of wit and wisdom with Aline Weiller. Her debut book is called Fun, Essays on a Life Embraced. It is a captivating collection of humorous and heartfelt stories that shine a light on everyday moments with a clever and joyful twist. Whether you're looking for a good laugh or a dose of inspiration, her essays are a must-read. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Aline, how are you doing today? Great to have you on the
I
show.
am great. Thank you so much for having me on the show. What a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you here. This book is wonderful, really puts a smile on your face. At other times, it'll make you laugh out loud.
That's
Uh,
the goal.
that is the goal. How did you
Yeah,
come about compiling these works, and were they written specifically for this book? Give us a little background.
sure. So I have been a writer for many, many years. Most people know me in the public relations world and copywriting and things of that sort. But I would say close to 10, 15 years ago, I started taking essay classes and memoir classes. I was an English major in college, always loved storytelling, and it really just sparked my imagination. Of course, it's a nonfiction book, it's a collection of essays. So all the stories are true and hopefully relatable. I like to call them slice of life, sort of humorous and hopeful tales. So I started taking classes and I started getting individual pieces published. And then, fast forward to really during COVID and lockdown when I had lots of time, as did everyone, I worked with an editor and decided to compile a collection to share my stories because I think it's important to do so. And here we are, and it's really been a fun journey so far. The book came out a few months back and been well received, and people just seem to relate to it, and it just brings them a little joy.
And when people ask you what's the name of your book, all you have to say is fun, which is
That's right.
awesome as well. You don't have to give them the subtitle. What's one of your favorite essays within the book? And share that story with us if you would.
So I would say it's a hard to choose because they're all your babies, but there is one titled Center Stage. I grew up with a lawyer as a father and a drama teacher as a mom. My mother ran a drama school out of our home. And so this essay is sort of a story within a story. It's about being creative students in my mom's drama school out of our living room and putting on lots of plays of the day. Our favorite was Sound of Music, and this essay touches upon that. And it sort of is a combo tribute also to my mom, who is the OG or original storyteller in the family. So it does sort of take you back to a typical day in my youth. And it's just an exciting piece where I do lots of pop culture references that sort of serve as timestamps that people can relate to. But I just like it. It's sort of a tribute to our family and to the arts. And that's really how I got sort of exposed to writing and plays and music and all of that. So it's really stuck with me. And so that is, I would say, if I had one essay to take on a desert island with me, it would be Center Stage.
Sounds great. It sounds like you had terrific parents and for guiding your career in many ways. You had a mom who's a drama coach and a dad who's a lawyer. Both are good with words, both in
Yeah.
different ways. And here you are with this book, which is great. Tell me a little bit about your work as a stand-up comic.
Well, I love words. I love language. About 7 years ago, I decided to take a comedy class. Again, I'm a big believer in classes and being a lifelong learner. I've always been a comedy super fan. So always gone to shows, paid the extra, the higher ticket price for the meet and greet and all of that. And I just out here in Connecticut and also in New York started taking classes, and I just love language. My act is observational humor. It's sort of a brand I like to call clever, clean, just typical things that you might run across. Everybody's safe. No family members are going to get mad at me, but it's just sort of, raising. I have two sons. There might be a tale about that, or just, some sort of experience I've had in New York, that sort of thing. But I just really have always had a funny bone, so I'm told, and just exercise a different muscle. Writing essays is one muscle, writing comedy, it's also the same, experience of crafting language, but it's adding humor to the observations. So I love it. I'm still doing it. I perform in the New York area, and performing brings me joy, much like those early days in my living room performing, Sound of Music or whatnot. So I've just continued in that theatrical vein.
So I was going to say, it's all kind of the same, whether you're in mom's living room or talking into a hairbrush or whatever it is. I think it's
Exactly.
how all of us performers get started. That's for sure. The difference, though, with stand-up comedy is you're not only writing and putting your work out there, you're standing up in front of everybody and hoping they will laugh. It can be a little nerve-wracking, particularly in the beginning.
That's right. It is not an
Yeah.
ensemble experience. You're out there on your own, but I do credit just performing in plays. And again, I'm in PR, so I do a lot of introducing of people. So for me, I don't have stage fright. I'm just sort of all in and look at it as a wonderful opportunity to just, again, share stories in a humorous way and just, bring other people joy, make them chuckle, and just get out and keep that performing bug that I have going.
Absolutely, absolutely. I find, and it's true with your essays and it's true with your stand-up comedy, I'm sure, is that basically you take your life, you examine it, you look at it, you look at the funny moments in your life. And so most of the stuff you're telling the folks when you're doing stand-up comedy is true, or when you're putting in your essays is true, except
Correct.
you might be exaggerating it a little bit for comic effect, right?
You can massage it a little. You take a little poetic license. As
Exactly.
writers, I think we do that. You embellish a little bit,
Right.
or add a tag to the story and just sort of invite everyone in. The whole idea in all of my work is to have people relate, whether that's evoking an emotion, a chuckle, a little tear here and there. It's mostly upbeat, but I want people to connect.
Yeah, it's all about the commonality, the common thread, the connections that, whether your mom was a drama teacher or whatever she was, there are always similarities with moms and that kind of thing. So I think that's kind of the joy of your book.
Yes.
Give the folks an overview of the book. So you've got that essay in there, obviously, about your upbringing. Give us some of the other topics that you explore and just let the folks know what it looks like when they crack open the pages.
Sure. Well, there's something for everyone. It's all different topics. A big theme in the book is family. So I'll write an essay on family reunion. I'll write some musings on motherhood. So there's lots of family stories in there, humorous and hopeful. But once in a while, my dad passed away on the younger side. So I have a couple of essays, but sort of as a honoring his legacy and as a tribute. So not to bring anyone down, but there might be someone who could relate to that experience. I have lots of pop culture. Again, I'm just a comedy fan. I'm a Broadway fan. You have me at a Barry Manilow concert. You have me seeing Dear Evan Hansen. I talk about celebrity icons for like the Gen X generation. I wrote about Mary Tyler Moore. So there's lots and lots of references in that regard too, which people get back to me and say, wow, I can really hear your voice. I remember that time period. There's even an essay on my hairstyle in the 80s. So really, I just try to, you know, talk about the funny, just
Right.
little life observations and, ways that I've powered through despite the circumstances. But again, it is for the most part uplifting. And I like to leave readers on a note of hope.
It's great. I bet you had big hair in the 80s. That's my guess.
Totally big hair, all
Totally
about the
big hair.
hair and the hair gels, the whole deal. Yep.
Exactly. Well, I got to confess, I had a mullet in the 80s, so we're both
Okay.
guilty as charged.
Exactly.
It wasn't exactly the best era in the world when it came to fashion, right?
That's right. But we had fun, just
Yeah,
like the book says.
absolutely, absolutely. And the Barry Manilow concert that you saw and observations on that must have been great because it's such a unique experience, and he's such a unique performer as well, right?
Exactly. Exactly. It kind of is how my friends encouraged me to go, and he won me over in the process. So, and also a lot of things just evoke memories and nostalgia from growing up for a lot of people. You don't have to have grown up exactly in my generation because everyone has similar experiences, first concert or first child or college reunion or whatnot. So I try to keep it real and relatable for everybody.
That's wonderful, and it is. And I'm not a huge Barry Manilow fan, but as I'm not a fanalo, I think they call them. But as time goes on, you become nostalgic over that music because it was the soundtrack of our lives. Like,
Correct.
for my son, it's Blink 182 is the soundtrack of his life or whatever it might be. But you're right, you have all those common threads. So what's next for you? Writing another book? More essays on fun? Tell us what your literary life looks like as we go forward.
Yeah, so right now I'm doing a lot of appearances for fun, but I always have more essays percolating. They're all here. Book two will come out at some point, but I am very motivated and inspired by everyday experiences and have joy in the ordinary. I find joy that way. So I'm always inspired and always writing. I do not have writer's block in the least. So yes, I am hoping to put out another collection sooner rather than later. But for now, I'm hoping everyone enjoys this grouping of work. And so far, so good.
So far, so great. I would say the name of the book is Fun Essays on a Life Embraced. It is a captivating collection of humorous and heartfelt stories that shine a light on everyday moments with clever and joyful wit. Whether you're looking for a good laugh or a dose of inspiration, the author's essays are a must read. Aline, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to have been on the show.
I'm thrilled to have you here. Great, great conversation. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.